Now that Ultra Evolutions are available in Squad Busters, I wanted to figure out what it would cost to get every single Ultra Evolution unlocked in the game. So today we're going to talk about exactly that. What would it cost you to go and max out every single one of these units by going in and making purchases in the shop, or alternatively, by playing games, running a spree, and having chests going? And man, it's kind of interesting to do all this math, but let me just at the front of this video say that although you can just pay to win your way to having all the units maxed by going over here and refreshing over and over again, which is actually kind of satisfying to do if you have the gold to go and do it and you just buy and upgrade and buy and upgrade. Once you have everything, I don't know. I mean, for me, part of the fun is actually going and collecting all this stuff, right? So you can in fact refresh. I've got it slightly cut off at the top of the screen. Refreshing in this particular shop now caps out at 15,000 gold. So I can go do that now. I'm going to smash refresh and you can see it didn't change the cost. So it's like 2,500-ish or 4,000, then 6, and then 10. Maybe there's an 8,000 increment in there, and then it's 15. And then you can do this over and over for the 15,000 gems, or I guess it's gold. Now, the next thing I needed to figure out to get the total cost for all of this is when you go and you're making these purchases in the shop, what does it cost you per unit? And for a common unit, it is 800 gold per unit. For a rare unit, it is 1,000 gold per unit. That's pretty easy to figure out. 12 units, 12,000 gold. And I cannot believe I did not get any epics here. So I'm just going to go in and buy all of these, and then I'll refresh again to prove to you, even though I probably don't need to do this, that an epic unit is going to run you 1,200 gold per unit. Or I guess I should... The unit of measure here is babies, okay? It's babies. All right, we get these last couple units here. Then we'll hit the refresh on this. And it is like, you have to admit, it's satisfying to watch. It's actually satisfying to do. And there we go. There it is. Okay, 30 epics cost me 36,000 gold. All right, now I'm going to pick all these up before I forget. But this is the baseline for going in and doing all of this math, okay? And as a reminder, in order to get a 2-star, you need 10 babies, okay? In order to get a 3-star, you need 10 2-stars, so 100 babies. And in order to get an Ultra Evolution, that is 4-star, you need 10 of the prior. So you're looking at 1,000 total babies. TLDR, 1,000 babies to make an Ultra, all right? So we can go in and do the math on the gold cost. I've actually gone and done this, and I'm going to throw it all up on a table on screen in just a second. Final thing I want to point out, though, and I make a lot of assumptions in all of this, is that I'm going to assume one way that you're going to go and do this is on day one, you're just going to be like, I'm a whale. I guess you need to unlock all the units first, all right? I don't know the unlock costs for everything, but you're going to unlock all the units. You're going to need to progress through the worlds to do that. But once you've done that, this is in Canadian dollars right now. I had to VPN into Canada to download the game early in the regional launch of the game before global, but it's about 100 USD for 1.25 million gold. So $1 is 12,500 gold. This is important in trying to understand, hey, what is the cost actually going to be? It does not account for all the rewards you get along the way. It does not account for all the free stuff you get along the way. There's a lot of caveats here, but let's put this up on the screen and I'll show you. Given that we know it's 800 gold per common baby, that means it's 800,000 gold per Ultra Evolution of a common unit, which will run you about $64, or in a perfect world with perfect refreshes, which is not a thing that actually happens, about $704. In fact, that number doesn't even account for the cost to refresh the shop. We'll get to the shop refreshing in just a minute here, okay? The next thing we'll look at is a rare. Okay, we know that a cost for one rare unit is 1,000 gold, and that you need 1,000 of them. So you're looking at 1 million gold, which will run you about 80 bucks, or to max all 9 of them, 720 bucks. And finally, for the epics, 1.2 million gold. So 1,200 gold per unit times 1,000 of them, 1.2 million gold. That's about 96 bucks, almost the $100 bundle worth per epic to go and max it out. And you're looking at $672 for all 7 epics. But there is a caveat because, hey, remember how we were talking about shop refreshes? So you're looking at a grand total of $2,096 to max every single thing, not accounting for shop refreshes and not accounting for the fact that shop refreshes get a lot less productive once you no longer need some of these units. Like, I don't actually know what happens when you don't need a unit anymore. Do you just keep getting it? And we can speculate about some of that stuff a little bit later, but I'm just going to assume that at that point, all we know about is Ultra Evolutions. Most people are just going to stop there. And like, yeah, they'll continue to build out their collection, but like probably stop spending on it, I assume. I don't know. If you are spending in game, you can start using code Chisgule on 528. That's what I'm probably going to go ham on the shop and like get some stuff, probably on stream, maybe 529 for global launch. I'll just like, I don't know, take a unit to an Ultra just to do it on stream. But like, let's talk about the cost of these refreshes. I did some math, okay? And your boy Cheese doing math is a little bit dangerous. Consider subscribing if you want to help me out with math. Sometimes I put this into my Discord in advance of the video going live, looking for help. So discord.gg/Chisgule is my Discord server. But I wanted to figure out, okay, so if it's about $2,100 to get like max all the units, if you could just buy them over and over without a refresh cost, what is the actual refresh cost? We know that we need 27,000 baby units. Hilarious. I need 27,000 babies. And why do we know that? It's 1,000 babies per Ultra. And there are 27 units in the game currently. So 27,000 babies. If we make the assumption that I can get 100 babies per shop refresh, which feels to me like a little bit of an aggressive assumption, then we know that we need 270 shop refreshes. I just wanted to make the math very easy to look at and understand. This means we need to spend just over 4 million gold on shop refreshes, assuming that you're just doing this all in one day and you're spending 15,000 gold per refresh, which is obviously aggressive. But if you did that and it all was perfect and you got every single Ultra max perfectly with no excess of anything, that would run you $324. The reality is that you'll probably end up spending closer to $400 or $500 in just total in refreshes, because once you max some of the units, like when they show up here, they're dead draws to you, right? At that point. So in total, it probably costs you somewhere between $2,500 to $2,600 to max out a Squad Busters account, just going and just pumping the shop, okay? If you just go absolutely ham here. But the way that I've been working on my account is I've actually been playing games, and playing games has been pretty rewarding. I run a chest every single game that I play. I refresh 3 chests at a time, so it's 2,000 gold per chest. So is it more economical? And really, I should say, how much more economical is it, Chisgule, to just try to max everything out from gameplay and to just run chests, okay? Now, I don't know what the number is going to be for like pure gameplay. If you're like 100% free to play, it could take a dang long time. And something I want to say is part of the fun of a game like this is actually the collection. Like, I know the gameplay is also obviously fun, but collection, like, just max everything out on day one. I don't know. Like, yeah, it's still fun to play, but I personally enjoy the collection. Okay, so I respect just being free to play for the purpose of enjoying the grind on your collection. But if you just run these chests and you're spending on these chests, I have played a grand total of 1,507 games, actually. Now, in my 1,507 games, I am halfway there on my common units. So most of my common units, I have 5 out of 10 on my 3 stars. For my rare units, I'm about 4 out of 10. And for my epics, I'm about 2 out of 10. Some are less than that. But just for the simplicity of the math, on average, this actually is going to make it really easy to do. So if I'm halfway there on 1,500 total games, then we can just double that number and I could get there for my commons, right? So that number would be 3,000 games with a spree going, with a chest running every single time. That includes the rewards I've been getting along the way from other things that are happening in the game and doing my own, progression of the account normally, right? So that's pretty cool. Okay, 3,000 games is what it would take for me on this account, running a spree, running chess, to max all of the common units, take them to Ultra. If you wanted to get the rares to Ultra, it's obviously going to be more games because mine are 4 out of 10 on the 3-star level, and I need 10 out of 10. So in that case, it will be about 3,750 games. I think that number's probably higher. I think I'm underestimating that a little bit. Probably because I've gone in and bought some amount of rares just to take them to 3-star in the first place. But like 3,750 total games. And on this account, theoretically, with a spree, chest running constantly, I would have all the rares maxed. And since the epics are 2 out of 10, I have 1,500 games. Multiply this number by 5 to get to where we would need to be. That's 7,500 games. Now, that takes a really long time to do, by the way. You can do the math on the amount of time it would take, and it is a lot of days played. And again, I will emphasize that, like, it's really enjoyable, in my opinion, to also be collecting as you go rather than just smashing out games. Now, since we know the total number of games that it would take to get my commons maxed, my rares maxed, and my epics maxed, based on my progress with 1,500 games under my belt, we actually can look at what would the cost of the chest be to get to that point. So to get to 3,000 games with a spree, okay, just the chest cost is gonna run you 480 bucks. To max your commons at the ultra tier, right? Now that said, I'm halfway there. So for me, it will be half that to finish this off, right? But in total, from start to finish, 480 bucks. To then have your rares all at ultra as well, you're looking at a total of, I'm guessing 600 bucks. It's probably more than that. I'm guessing that my rares, I got some already from the shop, and this is not quite representative. But if my account is in fact representative and that 3,750 number is right, 600 bucks. And you have the commons and the rares, ultra, okay? And for 1,200 bucks, you have the commons, you have the rares, you have the epics, and you have excess, of course, of the rares and the commons because you finished those long ago. You finished those at 3,000 games for the commons, and you've done 7,500 with the chest and the spree, okay? Now, that doesn't account for the spree, however, all right? So it's, again, 480 bucks, 600 bucks, 1,200 bucks is the common, rare, and epic with chest and spree, but this doesn't account for the 9,000 gold you need to spend when you lose your spree, and you will inevitably lose your spree, okay? It does not account for whatever keys you need to use in matches to stay in the top 5. It does not account for megas that you spent on. It does not account for any of the free chests you get along the way either. So this is like obviously flawed. I think I fall out of the top 5, like 1 in every 15 games or so. So theoretically you could do some math here where like you take the number, oh shoot, I'll just do it. So okay, to get the epics to the ultra tier on top of all that spend I was talking about, you probably end up needing like another 300 to 400 bucks in gold just to continue your spree when you're losing. Now, if you're actually playing this many games in a short-ish period of time, you will get better than most people, and like you probably end up being fine and not having to do it as much. But I don't know, the all-in cost is probably closer to $1,600 if you run sprees and chests constantly, compared to the like $2,600 you guys just go and get it from the shop. So it's like, you know, to actually earn it from your gameplay would run you about 50% ish. This is all napkin math, but like about 50% of the cost of just buying it from the shop right behind my head over here. All right. Now this might sound a little bit weird, but I'm actually a whale in mobile games. I spent, if you can believe it, on my other channel, like $15,000 to max my Call of Dragons account, and it's not even max. I just took it to the max City Hall level and maxed my research. So I'm used to city building war games where the cost to like, we can call it soft max. It's like to get to the beginning of the end game is 15,000 bucks. So 2,500 here actually sounds crazy enough, not very expensive to me, but I'll be honest, this is like my first Supercell game that I've really moved in on since I played Clash Royale long ago. So definitely let me know your thoughts down below in the comments on what you think of that price to go and max out ultras. At the end of the day, I feel like most people are not going to be using ultras that you're going to be up against unless you yourself have a bunch of ultras or they're really casual. So once the game is full of like lots of players, my suspicion is that there are not going to be that many people that you're fighting that have them if you don't have them. That's my suspicion. And maybe in like the initial days, there'll be some crazy people that go max them out right away. But like, I just don't think there's going to be that many people, they call me crazy, that to just go and do that. And also, if your goal is to just win more, like why are you maxing everything, by the way? If your goal is to just win more, would you just be better off buying fusion keys? Just gonna throw it out there. Like if you want to win more in an individual match, in the short term, the fastest way to like more wins is almost certainly, and there, see, my wizard is now 3 out of 10 at this tier. My wizard is now 3 out of 10. So my rares, I do feel like rares might be a little more pricey than my original napkin math here. But anyways, Like I was saying, like you could just use megas and get wins. That's like another way to do it, right? Rather than like, is your goal the wins or is your goal the account progression? And then maybe that carries into wins. I don't know, man. I'm just having a lot of fun playing this game. I don't aspire to be the best player in the game. I aspire to be informative and entertaining. Priority on the entertaining piece of the puzzle. But if you found this video informative or entertaining, throw a like on here, consider subscribing. If you want to see the time that I actually tested out the pay-to-win mechanics, like the keys, and I just really, like, it was pretty eye-opening and game-changing for the way that I play. Check the card in the end screen. I basically challenged myself to use the keys, and I explained the way they work, and I'm like, hey, let's give them a try and see how it goes. And I was like, oh my god, these keys are actually really cracked, man. The fusion key in particular, and of course dropping a mega, it's pretty busted. But you want to see all that? Check the card in the end screen. Until next time, you have fun smashing your enemies. Good luck, everybody.